What do you do to escape reality? Stay up awfully late. Tomorrow can't come if I never go to sleep, right? Night lasts longer. The worst feeling is the point in an all-nighter when the sun starts to come up and you come to terms with the notion that no, you won't be getting even a couple of hours before your day starts. That's why I hate the sound of birds singing. Those cheery little cunts fill me with dread. Stop trying to get laid right next to my freaking window, you feathery little shits. Daydream. Was gonna say the same. Maladaptive daydreaming. I've had it all of my life and only recently learned it's a thing. I've daydreamed so many possible scenarios that some of them have actually come true, just based on the odds. Mostly, it saps my mental strength and makes me feel disassociated from the real world. When I'm anxious, it fuels the anxiety because I can see the bad thing happening so clearly. I think it's a mechanism my mind developed to help me cope with a lonely childhood but never disassembled, and it continued to churn away even when it was no longer needed. On a positive note, I write fiction and I've come to recognize that the daydreaming is my mind's way of telling me there are stories I need to get out. Edit, maladaptive dreamers, we are legion. Let us unite and conquer the world. If we can get out of our heads. It's so frustrating. I've got these, essentially what are television shows, running in my head all the time that I can vividly describe, but when I try to write it as a story, or draw it out, I'm never satisfied with what I put down. Is there anything you do to just enjoy the process, rather than worrying about how perfectly it matches your vision? Here I thought I was the only one. I escaped into books a lot when I was a kid and felt alone. These TV shows run every day, I probably waste hours. I do not write it down as a story, but sometimes I write down parts of it, like a conversation or a situation. I think it would be putting too much pressure on the fantasies to try to turn them into full stories. Listen to music, game. Same music and games calms me. Whenever I read games calm me, I wonder if it's the same person who yells at their diamond teammates for dropping the shield a little early on that vault. Getting mad at Overwatch does help me redirect all of my anger onto a harmless outlet. And no, I don't yell on comms at other people. I stay off mic and occasionally yell "you mother ducker" at my poor TV. Yelling at other people wouldn't make it a harmless outlet. I never yell at people. I only yell at technology. Seriously, I have screamed some very unkind things at electronic devices, back when I was much more stressed and actively dealing with some crap. Don't stand next to me when the machine uprising begins. Write fiction. Read fiction. Gaming. Writing is such a relief. On nights when I am too tired, and want to avoid screen time, I either imagine my way through plot and dialogue or make small notes on paper. There are times when I am writing that I truly zone out for hours at a time and I'm just there with my characters. Yep. When it's like that, it's the best thing in the world. I used to work with writers. One ghost wrote the Tech Wars series. They often spoke about knowing the characters' personality so well that all they had to do was set the stage and the characters would write the story themselves. The other writers would chime in and agree. Some would say how they often thought a scene would play out one way because they wanted to push a specific plot point and their characters wouldn't cooperate. I always found that fascinating. Sleep. Too depressed and broke to even try anything else. When in doubt, nap it out. Shower. Time flows slow in there for some reason. It helps anxiety attacks. Water on your face slows heart rate and oxygen consumption. So I hear. Yeah, it can activate the dive reflex when you do that. Running cold water on wrists, forearms can also be pretty magical. It is a vagal maneuver. In emergency medicine, if your heart rate is staying in the 150s or higher while resting, we sometimes have patients dunk their heads in bucket of ice water. Some patients have repeat episodes of SVT and prefer it over being medicated or electric cardioversion. Being shocked, not medical advice. If you're having a racing heart rate with shortness of breath, chest pain, and feeling weak, you should call 911 or other emergency service. Walk my dog early in the morning. We pretend we are navigating an apocalyptic landscape in the search for treats. I used to do this with my kid. We'd jump on our bikes, circle the block, find a care package, backpack with water, snacks, etc., and ride to faraway places. Sometimes we'd hit up the elementary school about a mile away and have to fight off the horde of zombies, then sneak back on our bikes and ride. I personally have died many a times, according to him. Lol. Eventually, we planned on doing a nighttime ride too, but I wanted to set up the bikes for that, reflectors, headlamps, etc., but it kept getting shoved off for other bills, or he'd rather do something else instead. Until finally, he completely outgrew hanging out with mom. Sometimes, I'll get a few COD zombie sessions in, and we'll grab Chipotle and try to catch up on Flash, but that's a very rare treat for me now. You're an awesome parent. Seriously, the kid will remember this when he's older. Talking from personal experience. Stargazing sets me straight. I have to do some stargazing for this astronomy class, but I'm still gay. You mean Jay? Read fantasy fiction. Run, and not in some fitness guru way where it really brings me into a meditative headspace. When I'm running, I just can't think about anything but running. Funny, I have to listen to some music I'm really into when running, because I can't be thinking about running or else I'll want to stop running. Video games. When my mom was diagnosed with terminal cancer, I hid in video games, notably World of Warcraft. It was the only thing that kept me sane. I mean, I still worked and interacted with people and took her to appointments and spent time with my dad, but when I found myself alone with my thoughts, I would log into the game and spend hours there. The beautiful thing about video games is that the problems have solutions. You can generally solve every dilemma and even get a reward. That's not the case in real life. Not today, narc. Duck. I laughed and now all my Coke blew behind the toilet. Do you want ants? Because that's how you get ants. Those ants are gonna be pretty duckin' lit. Drugs. I literally came here to say substances, and there's all these wholesome and healthy answers. Lamau. I have those healthy answers like video games, guitar, birding, but the real answer is going out and getting drunk. Come here, and read. Edit, just got back from school and saw this. Shockingly low is this. I'd have thought Reddit would be in top 5. ITT, people who distract themselves with Reddit trying to distract from that with tales of other distractions. Exercise, and if I have more time, go for a longer hike and enjoy nature. I don't care how old I am, I will always enjoy walking around forest, fallen leaves up to your knees, kicking them around, listening to rustling, and walking on freshly fallen snow. This almost sounds like the opposite of escaping reality. You're truly diving into it and experiencing the best of what reality has to offer. My day-to-day reality is tiny apartment in city, with loud neighbors, dogs barking, constant sounds of traffic, looking at computer most of the day, sitting behind desk, so when I need a change I go to nature, to the mountains, where I can find peace, forget about problems and try to enjoy things I enjoyed when I was kid. Really listen to nature, observe shapes, colors and daydream. Garden. Saved me from depression. No meds ever worked. I swear, physical activity seems more often than not to be the #1 help for depression. When someone is venting, really down and sad, and the other says let's walk and talk or let's just go for a walk, is because it actually works. I was in a place of super dark depression. I had planned out how I was going to kill myself when my parents came to visit me. And the reason I was going to wait for them is because I thought, well, someone will be there to take care of my kids. I obviously didn't do it, but I remember crying in the corner of the bathroom floor because I felt selfish that I wanted to see them grow up. I thought they deserved better than me, and being gone would be better for them. Still brings tears to my eyes thinking about it. I'm sorry you experienced these feelings about yourself. I hope you are doing much better. From reading your story about gardening, it seems like you are. In case you need reminding, you have your own special place here. Keep your chin up. Thanks for your courage to keep going and for sharing your story.